It's time to dish out some blame in the Anthem debacle. I think it's safe to say that the game is probably broken beyond recognition. Bioware continues to prove a disconnect between themselves and the player base. EA continues to prove that they will push out unfinished garbage products to the consumers. The consumers have proven time and again that they will continue to purchase half-baked garbage products from EA. Who's to blame? Well, just about everybody in this. Now, shout out to the Anthem subreddit community, which has made the best of all of this, providing some delicious memes and some good data. And I normally don't scroll through Reddit. I'm not a Reddit guy, but I did pick some interesting threads to understand what this latest update on Anthem has really meant to the player base. And I want to tell you where I think the real blame lies. Okay? Bioware. Let's start with you. You've had 6 freaking years to develop this game. 6. EA has already pushed it back another year. Now, when I talk about Bioware, this isn't an indictment of individuals' programming, development, ability to do their job level skills, all right? When you have a game that comes out in this state, a game with this level of disconnect from the player base, that goes up to the top. That goes up to people who push the game out the door. That goes up to people who are clearly disconnected from the player base and showing zero interest in learning. When you push out ridiculous microtransactions to, quote, test the waters, 61,000 coins for a skin. Make no mistake about it, that is a test. Why are you even spending time on that? You've already accepted the money from the players, 60, 80, 100, 200 freaking dollars, depending on which version people bought. And you push out garbage like this. The Warp Firelight skin. 61,000 coins. Or $8.50. And this is for a wrap. A wrap! The price of 61,000 coins might as well be $1 million. The price is set as a test. The price of that wrap is to do one thing. It's to find out how far they could push you to get you to give them real dollars. Sure, you could earn it in game. Sure, you could grind for 60,000 freaking coins. Nobody's doing that, and they know it. It's a wrap. Make it 5,000 coins for... Make it 5,000 coins. Gosh darn it. This is a family-friendly show. This is about testing the limits. This is about abusing the player base. And shout out to user Mythy007 dishing out the 7 Sages of Grief Anthem Edition. Starts with shock. So many new broken things, bad loot, new crashes, stuck loading screens. Then you hit denial. I must be the minority. I love the way the game plays. I also believe the loot is in a good place. Long post, but worth the read. Then you start to get the guilt phase. Bioware, on behalf of the community, I'm sorry if we seem hostile. Then you get to the bargaining phase. Guys, stick with it. We need to support the game. Depression. Anthem is becoming a depressing letdown. Reconciliation. After a moment to think about it, I actually am mad. And, of course, acceptance. This isn't giving up. No, this is letting go. And the Reddit knows. The Reddit knows exactly what Bioware is up to. Don't buy the 61,000 coin wrap. They are using telemetry to see how much people will pay for cosmetics. This is absolutely right. Absolutely right. That's why they're doing it. They don't actually believe it's worth 61,000 coins. They want to set it at a price so high that you don't even consider it and you just fork out the money. Bioware, who's had 6 full effing years. The end game for Anthem is a joke. The loot continues to be a joke. And don't worry, viewers of this video who already know where I'm going, there's plenty of blame for the customers too. We have to accept some of the blame because ultimately we keep buying this garbage. And I talked about it earlier online. I was starting to wonder, whose fault is it really? You know what? We're buying it. People are buying it. Yes, I can read your comment right now. You didn't buy it. Well, you were smart. But just because you bought the game, you shouldn't feel ashamed. There's nothing wrong with hoping for the best. It's a better way to live. I'd rather hope for the best and be disappointed than walk around mopey all the time expecting everything to suck. But EA, on the heels of laying off 300 people, yes, it's not related, allegedly. Although my insiders say that Apex Legends basically saved hundreds more jobs. Respawn saved hundreds of jobs with the success of Apex Legends. I've seen conflicting sales data around this game. Some people told me it's selling good, but Wall Street is saying that it looks like a flop. Games are built to be sustained over a long time now, but Anthem's early post-release sales tracking is uninspiring. The title's core gameplay appears unlikely to lure in the player base needed to produce a winner for EA. Despite indications from EA and Bioware that interest in the game is exceeding expectations, signs emerged that it was in danger of underperforming as it got close to release. That now appears to be the likely outcome. The company made a trial version of Anthem available roughly 1 month before release. And don't you think for a second that they're never going to do that again. I'd be willing to bet you that they never do this again. While the game did find some fans, the overall reaction from the people who played it was less than favorable. Online communities criticized the game's aesthetic and general style, and the title never really managed to build the hype that typically mounts in the lead-up of a big game's debut. Hope that the title would be significantly improved by its release date can apparently be set aside as early fan reactions are largely negative and the professional critics appear to be writing the game off as mediocre. BioWare's latest has an aggregate review score of just 60%, being recommended by just 14% of critics. 6 years you spent on this. You didn't listen to your community. You didn't institute any of the feedback that you got in the alpha. Was it the wrong game at the wrong time? The project borrowed certain gameplay design from elements of Activision Blizzard's Destiny games, and it was likely conceived as a competitor to that franchise. Development almost certainly started when fortunes looked hot for the Destiny franchise, but by the time Anthem was ready for release, market tastes had shifted, and the Destiny property had declined to the point where Activision no longer seemed fit to support it. Here we go. This actually mirrors what my insiders are telling me at EA. Electronic Arts has had difficulty delivering consistent success with original IPs. The company typically generates strong performance from FIFA and Madden franchises. Stop buying those, people. In addition to other licensed product, but there are reasons to be concerned that the publisher has become overly reliant on other people's IPs. Thankfully, for the company and the shareholders, EA scored a major new hit in 2019. The company's surprise release of Apex Legends in early February has proven very successful. As you may remember, Mass Effect Andromeda's first week sales in the UK weren't very good, thanks to a pretty disastrous launch that was defined by bugs, mostly disappointment. So for Anthem to only get half as many sales as Mass Effect Andromeda in the first week on the same market is not a good sign for the game. It also means that it sold about a quarter of what Mass Effect 3 did. Now, this is physical copies, but when you have console versions of games, I think you're going to sell more. This was digital. There's no new data that I've seen. Now you have hitting Elysian caches won't drop armor sets. Anthem is getting new cosmetic rewards. It's called Elysian caches soon, and those will be new vinyls, arrival animations, victory poses, and emotes. Who cares about emotes? Literally, this entire game. No. A large portion of the attraction to a looter shooter with heavy customization is to make your javelin look awesome. I look at Division 2, besides the big beer belly, I feel like the person I designed in Division 2 actually kind of looks like me. And you get all the sweet gear and it appears on your character, and I'm actually eager to show it off to people. That's not what you're getting. And I don't understand. Why won't you give the customers their freaking loot? Why? Why? What do you have against giving your customers what they want when it doesn't affect anything in the game? Are you literally holding back thousands of items just so you can hope to string everyone along so that they might buy it with real world money? Probably. Comments on livestream suggested that armor was coming soon, and lead producer Ben Irving pointed to a fan looking toward new armor sets toward the impending release of Elysian caches. As VG247 notes, Irving had to follow up later that said, "My bad there. I read the question as, when can we earn vanity in Anthem, as opposed to when can we earn armor? There are no armor packs in Elysian caches." While critical response to the game has been mixed, negative, Anthem sales have apparently been quite good. This is where the difficult numbers, everybody's kind of reporting something different. Anthem is Bioware's best-selling launch after Mass Effect 3. This is where we talk about the customers. We have to stop buying stuff ahead of time. All the people that bought it and that are emotionally committed to this game now, if they would have just waited a month, they would have known. They could have played through an entirely different game and saved $60 on this. Now, maybe you have Origin Premiere. Fine. I do. The only reason I have it is for this YouTube channel, though. I had very little interest in Battlefield 5 after everything that went on with that game. I had very little interest in Anthem. The game looks great. It has limitless potential, but after 6 years of development and months of updates, patch notes, patch releases, the game still remains just that. Potential. And a lot of people didn't line up and pay $60, $80, or $100 for potential. This is a Reddit that has turned against the game at many times, have issued complete blackouts of the game for a week, trying to get the developers' attention. As of yesterday, developer Bioware's ongoing effort to improve the experience in a loot-based shooter has hit a new milestone thanks to the release of today's update. However, the intent of the update had actually changed and is not pleasing the players, who are noting dramatic decrease in the quality of Anthem's loot. Why are you holding this back? I don't understand. Give the customers what they want. I don't understand. If you had stuff earmarked to sell loot boxes or to sell as upgrades, just make new stuff. Every time you give them something and you take it away, it's 100 times worse than had you never given it to them at all. Do you not understand humans, Bioware? And look, This is not about Bioware individual employees. These are decisions that are made at the top. So if you're not wearing a suit at work, I'm probably not talking to you. But do you not get how people are? Today saw the launch of Anthem Update 1.04, which was supposed to boost loot drops for Grandmaster 1 difficulty and Apex creatures, among dozens of other changes. It also introduced Elysian caches for acquiring cosmetics at the completion of Anthem Strongholds. Unfortunately, what players are noting is lower quality overall loot. Despite claims from Bioware that the update was supposed to do the opposite, Stronghold bosses, for example, no longer drop guaranteed masterwork. Why? Why? Why are you doing this? I don't understand what is so hard for Bioware. You get a letter in the mail from a customer, and the letter says, I really love your product, but can you provide more of this thing that has literally no cost to you, and it would make me more likely to buy items in the future? You know how you get customers to buy skins for $8.50? You keep them in the game. You make them happy. Look at Warframe. This isn't impossible. Nobody's going to buy $8 skins if they're not playing the game. Why is this difficult? Why would you take Masterworks away from that? Instead, it can be an epic and rare quality loot. Even the Grandmaster 2 difficulty, where the time investment is higher, players are noting that drops are below expectations. Similarly, Anthem has also added embers to the loot pool for Stronghold caches and other chests, so it's possible to complete a Stronghold encounter and come away with no physical gear. And in case that didn't create its own problems, Anthem players can now pick up loot for other players. No longer will players be able to avoid the blue or purple loot that they didn't want. They are practically forced to pick it up. What? I mean, how do you not get it? How do you not understand? You could literally go to your own freaking Reddit, sort by top posts, pick 5 items, they're probably all similar related, and fix this shit tomorrow. But you don't. What is the point? Do you hate your players? Are you trying to punish them? This is the third time, I believe, that you've effed up on the loot. By the way, this is PvE anyway. So who cares? Give them the loot. Hashtag give them the loot. This game needs the long tail to be, quote, profitable. Because as we know, on Wall Street, it's not about making a ton of money in the gaming industry. It's about making all of the money. Bioware, you're ultimately responsible for the final product. EA, you're culpable too for pushing out a product that you had to know wasn't ready. Customers, you're at fault too. And your biggest crime is expecting a gigantic company to deliver on the bare minimum that they've requested. But you also, some customers, look, I'm not trying to alienate people, but you've got to understand how I see this too. You had an alpha. You had an open beta. You had hundreds of hours of YouTube videos to watch where people were telling you the truth about this game. The loading screens, the empty world, the NPCs sucking, all the problems with the game you knew and you bought it anyway. We've got to stop buying half-baked products. Corporations like EA, Bioware's dead. I have serious doubts for Bioware's future. There is no way that EA is looking at Anthem as a success. I just can't believe it. Unless there's like a couple thousand whales that are just buying everything regardless, which maybe there are. I don't know. There's no way that EA is looking at this positively when you have your Reddit turned against you. Did anyone else quit the game and keep coming back to the Reddit in hopes to find a loot fixed post? It's It's really disappointing that I wanted Anthem to succeed, but after 150 hours of the loot slog finally took its toll on me. It can't be that hard to revert the loot back to when it, quote, bugged the second time and everyone was happy. How can you ignore this? I don't get it. What do you have to benefit? What do you have to benefit from by pissing off your own customers? You got 200,000 members of this subreddit. Imagine making them happy. Imagine how many of them would continue to play your game and might purchase some of your in-game cosmetics that you want them to. The loot portion of the latest update is a complete disaster and actually regression from where it was before. Bullet point 1. Stronghold bosses no longer guarantee masterworks. Just receive 4 purples from a monitor on Grandmaster 2. Teammates can now pick up loot for you, so your inventory is constantly getting filled up with blue and purples that you don't get the satisfaction of being able to pick up your own drops. Half of the items in free play and Stronghold chests have been replaced with embers. That's pretty much a shady stealth nerf. Could be a bug. Regardless, this needs to be fixed. A hotfix or another client update needs to go ASAP to fix this because it is horrible. I just received 3 blue embers and 2 purples from a Stronghold chest. Nothing from Bioware. You're a gigantic company. How can you treat your customers like this? This can't keep happening. And look, I know that a lot of people are casuals and they don't keep up on the YouTube videos. That's why you've got to share this stuff around. Not just my videos, but other people. You've got to get involved in the conversation on these subreddits. You've got to let people know, yo, just cool your jets. Wait a week. Wait a month. You're not missing out. The only thing that you can guarantee by not playing that month is you're going to reduce the chances of your disappointment. Maybe you'll get it on sale because it's already on sale. I don't understand how something so obvious to everyone on the outside looking in continues to be ignored by BioWare. And what is their grand master plan here? To piss everyone off to such a point where they never come back? I guarantee you they blew their marketing wad already. It's not like they're going to go out there and make a huge push for new customers. They have their player base. A huge chunk of the player base you're going to get is going to happen in that first month. And you're burning through them. It's ultimately BioWare's responsibility to fix this. They're the ones that took the money. Secondarily, EA needs to make some heads roll. And I'm talking high up at BioWare. And customers, you've got to wake up. You've got to stop buying this stuff. Or they're going to keep putting it out. What a mess.